Hello my friends, welcome to the second lesson of Alpine.js training course. In this lesson I want to show you how to install Alpine.js and introduce some of the main directives of this library. I created an index file and put the codes in this file. Let's go to the Alpine.js website and see how we can install the library. As you see, there are two ways to include Alpine.js into your projects. The first one is to use the script tag and the source we have here. The second one is to use a module and npm install Alpine.js and import that using these lines. In this course we want to use the first one, that is simple. So I copy this code. Remember that include defer in this tag and don't delete it. So I copy that and paste it into the head tag. Well, this was the installation of Alpine.js. As you see, it was quite simple. Like other scripts is jQuery and Vue.js. Let's go to Alpine.js directives. Well, the first one that we want to talk about is xdata. Also, we will discuss about xtext, that is simple and will be used in the examples. And in the next session, I will explain other directives. Let's go to explain xdata. Before start, if you use PHP Storm program, you can easily go to File menu, Settings in Plugins tab, add supports to access directives in this library and install Alpine.js. Of course, it's not necessary to do that. So I define a div tag. Every component of Alpine.js that is written should have a xdata. So if you use Alpine.js, you should use xdata. Well, I define an xdata. You can define variables and functions. Variables are from JavaScript in the types of boolean, string and number. Functions also are similar to JavaScript. So for variables I write display, true or false. For a string variable I write message, hello. To define toggle I write toggle. This dot display equals not this dot display. It means change true to false and vice versa. Normally writing a variable like this is really good. We can define variables in xdata. As you see, we defined all of them just like this. But if the projects are more complicated, this kind of definition is not enough and makes you confused. Well, I write a script and define my variables. I write function. Alpine data return the data I wrote here and copy them in this line. You can also arrange them like this. As you see now, it's organized and clear. We can write more functions and variables here. Well, I put the function, I had to use xdata here and use them in my component. So the first step is defining variables using xdata directive, and as I told you before, we can define it inline and write a script and a function. There are other explanations about xdata that we will talk about it later. But before that I should explain xtext directive. We will discuss about xtext and then xdata. Well, I defined a span here. Formerly, when we wanted to define a span, we write simple text. This text was static and we were unable to change it. To change that, we had to load a jQuery and JavaScript and take a span and find this part, and with JavaScript codes change the text. Certainly the process was long with many codes and it was not organized. And also we had many problems. In Alpine.js, to change this text you can use xtext directive. It's a good directive, and here I deleted the text using this directive. It says which variable do you want to add. Certainly we want to add message. As you see, it detects message because we have span tag here and data was defined. So I created a span using xtext and the text was message. It finds the message and defines it as a span tag. As you see, when I load the page, hello will be shown. And if I put inspect here, the main parts is ready here. You see that span is created here and the text is changed to hello. We can use xdata as a subset. Here I have xdata and I define another div with another xdata. And I have some variables here and I can have a span and I can change the text using xdata. If we had a xdata that was a subset for another one, and if we defined a variable in subset xdata that was in main xdata, this variable should be override. For example, I write here, message, and instead of hello I write hello world, and span is on X text. What happens now, it analyzes that is there any message in main X data or not. So it puts this text as message. If there wasn't message, it goes to main X data and analyzes to find message. If there was a message, shows it. Now we have two spans here that are different. The first one is used directly in X data and takes the message from here, and the second one is a subset for another X data that has another message. Now I refresh the page and you see that the first span shows hello, and the second shows hello world. Now I delete this message. Now it analyzes that there are any message or not, and it detects that there is no variable. Instead it shows another message and shows hello. If the variables was changed, it shows the new variables. Now assume that we have an Alpine.js component, and there is no variable here. Instead of Alpine data, you have an open and close blanket. To be more organized, we can delete this part and define a new X data. In this process, we are using Alpine data, but we don't have any variable here. Finally, another topic that we can discuss in X data is that you can use it linear. If you remember, to show a text, we defined a span using X text directive and showed the message. Now, without creating span, we want to create message in X data div. I write X text and message, and all of them are in one line. Now I refresh the page and the message is here. There is no special point to say. In this lesson we talked about X data and X text that are sensible. If you want to use Alpine.js, X data is necessary and X text is optional, and it can be used in many projects. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. In the next lesson we will talk about another directives and review all of them. See you next time.